Hello, and welcome to 20 Lore Pro, a community of Lorcana players who enjoy deck building, competing, and opening Lorcana product. You can find out more at our Discord community, 20LorePro/Discord, link in the description, where we have tons of deck lists, deck discussions, and upcoming events like this past weekend's 1K Lorcana tournament, hosted by Crimson Lion Games. In today's video, you'll be watching Round 3, Andreas, piloting Amethyst Ruby Bounce, versus Claude, piloting Emerald Steel Floodborn. Wish our competitors luck, and enjoy the video. Hello and welcome to round 3 of our Crimson Lion Games Lorcana 1K. Really appreciate y'all coming out today. My name is SirAshtown and I'm here with 20 Lore Pro, bringing you the best in competitive Lorcana. Welcome to round 3 of 7. Today our producer is Lucksack and our head judge is Stunning Rob. You may recognize those names from the 20 Lore Pro Discord. We appreciate you again coming here to Twitch. You can see the VOD today after, or you're welcome to go to our YouTube channel where later on this week we'll have the videos updated for y'all. We see Claude here versus Andreas, a Emerald Steel versus Ruby Amethyst, with a turn 1 Pascal from Andreas. Into a Madam Mim. Love seeing that lore go up and then a Madam Mim come down. I said this last round, but love those 3/3s. It's just a great body on a character, and then you're able to lore, attacking anything that may be threatening you. Overall, a great trade to go up in power. Ooh, this is great from Claude, seeing the Bucky. We do not get to see this very often, but I love watching these Floodborn decks be played. This could be possibly a discard build. You could go a lot of different routes, but love seeing the Bucky because this is a unique opportunity to watch this deck be played. Andreas here with a Maleficent. Able to draw off of that, get some more cards into his hand. He inks Flynn Rider, who we love, the Bodyguard Prince. I was talking the other day with a good friend that we hadn't seen a whole lot of good princes. We saw the blueprints get revealed, but definitely like this steel with Bodyguard a lot better. The fact that it has resist 1 with the 2 lore ability to gain Makes this card very good with a 1/3 body. Claude decided not to lure with Bucky, choosing to save it. Andrea's here on the play, choosing to cast Friends on the Other Side, which is a great just combo that you get there. You get to draw off of the Maleficent, and then you're able to next turn draw with the B. Friends on the Other Side. Just love that ability to draw really 4 cards off of that. Madam Mim choosing to attack into that Prince, take it off the board, using the Power of Crab. This is the Merlin Crab card. When it comes into play, it gets that Challenger 3. We've been seeing a lot more discussion about that on the 20 Lore Discord group with the deck called Jund. We just like the ability just to, when it ETBs, get that 3 Challenger, and then when it leaves to give another 3. We've seen some plays where a character gets +6 in 1 turn and just be able to maul over those resist characters like we just saw. Claude here with the Jafar coming down. This is a Jafar as well. It's been seeing good play. Whenever it takes out a card, it's able to draw a card. And we see the Madam Mim popping back up to protect it. Playing out another Madam Mim snake. Again, with that crab leaving, he didn't get to use it this turn, but he did regain that Challenger 3. And now he's got 2 3/3 Madam Mim snakes on board, facing down Claude's Bucky and his Jafar. Now, we haven't seen a Prince John yet. We haven't seen the discard element, if that's viable in this deck or not, from Claude, but just seeing the Bucky with all these Floodborn characters here can be a real help in drawing, filling up his hand again. Now, I believe that Jafar was a Floodborn character. I might be mistaken. Let's take a look here. Oh, it was a Floodborn, so he was able to draw using the Bucky. Into the Cinderella. Claude thinking about his play. We do like this Cinderella, just the ability to have access to, 1, a higher body, but also 2, the ability to shift from the big Cinderella. Andreas for his turn. Ooh, Lady Tremaine with 3 different characters on board. He chooses to pitch the Cinderella, opting to save the Bucky. That way he can draw and use the Jafar to draw. He can get a character to be banished during his turn. This is that Cinderella up for y'all to see. Just the ability to play it and then be able to discard a card helps him cycle through some of the cards in his hand. But that Lady Tremaine, we had said this during the last match that we'd watched, that just being able to be prepared, followed up by a Lady Tremaine, able to control which characters are coming down, really powerful play. And having that 2 lore just makes that card so good. Claude coming down with a big tink. Dealing 1 damage to all these characters. One thing about playing against Ruby Amethyst is he does not have to worry about resist. Using that Jafar to cast Bibbidi Bobbidi. Removing some damage off of some of those characters. Ooh, Andrea's choosing to double attack into the Jafar to banish it. That way he's not able to gain any more off of that. Andrea's played a rabbit to draw, refilling his hand some. Ooh, and we see a big beast from Claude. This card has just been seeing more and more play. It's been so good, able to act like in Magic we call it a Howling Mind, able to draw cards. As long as he doesn't have any damage, he's able to draw additional card on his upkeep. And having a 3/5 just beater out there whenever he does get damaged can be very powerful. Andrea's taking out the big Tink, playing down a rabbit to get his hand back up. This is a very tight game. We see 4-2 on the lore. Lots of great plays being done by both these players. Hard to really get an advantage on the board. Claude trying to get there with that beast to get that hand advantage. And with that card being a Floodborn too, that Bucky just went off and he was able to draw again into a big Cinderella. This card at times can be hard to get down because of its high lore count, but once you get it, it is just so powerful with its resistibility and its ability to look for 3 lore. Andrea's there looking at how much ink he's got. He's got quite a bit. Enough for a be prepared. We love it. That is tough to see, but that is the name of the game. Being able to wipe the board and kind of a fresh start. Being able to draw so much really helps Claude, even though he's behind a little bit. Those extra draws really help him out at this point. He plays Johnny Silver. Really enjoyed that movie. One that has been, I think, underrated, but Treasure Planet is just such a good film. And what a great ability to put on a memorable character. Andrea's coming back from that Be Prepared of his own with the Rabbit and Maleficent to be able to draw 2 cards. Hopefully a third whenever that Rabbit does leave play. Now this John Silver, whenever he's played, whenever you play this character and whenever he quests, your opposing characters gain Reckless, an opposing character. So just being able to choose whenever, especially on aggro, when you're playing with those Lilos, you're playing with those Maleficents that just tap for 2 lore, just making sure that they can't lore up, especially towards the late end game, is so good. Andrea's here getting rid of the John Silver. Playing 2 Olafs. Now the Ruby Amethyst deck we've seen so often running Teeth and Ambition, these 1/3s that look not menacing at all, just able to really eat up a lot of damage off of those cards. Claude coming down with a big Tink, dealing 1 damage to those 1/3s. Not as good as targets now for Teeth and Ambition. And it looks like he sung a discard card, the one that says discard 1. So there is a little bit of discard to this Emerald Steel deck. Haven't seen too much of that yet. We don't know if they play Prince John or if they're going the discard route, but we do see this this single card discard. Trying to find that card for y'all. Here you go. Sudden Chill can be really strong, especially when you get that Prince John out and you have any character really able to sing. Gives you some free lore up and the ability to draw a card off of that discard from your opponent. It's all about that resource, being able to be ahead of your opponent in some regard, especially on board, but more so in your hand if you can. We know that Andreas, we don't see how many ink he has, but we know he had enough for that Be Prepared. And another John Silver from Claude. This is going to prevent anything that Andreas throws out that can lure for too much from being able to lure. Using the Tinkerbell to sweep up some of his characters. Again, this just this John Silver, that 5/5, just so strong. And the fact that it can be inked at 6 is so good. Maui is such a powerful card, having Reckless with a 5/5, but just having that John Silver with that extra abilities. Been a great play for him so far this game for Claude. Andreas thinking. We see a spellbook in his hand. He hasn't played that yet. Hasn't had the opportunity to, but right now being 8-4, he's got to find a way to stabilize with the board. Just having that John Silver and the Tinkerbell with the ability to tap for 2 together, 4 all together. This game could really go away. He chooses to lure up. Oh, he could not because of the John Silver ability. Good catch by the players. We also have the head judge today, Stunning Rob. Some of you know him from the 20 Lore Pro Discord group. He's here head judging today and making sure that everyone's having a fun day and playing to the best of their abilities. Andrea is here with that Madam Mim Fox, just that 4/3, able to come out and rush into and take care of that Tinkerbell. That way he can recast the Maleficent. Madam Mim, just the Fox, is such a great character, really able to synergize with any of your cards that when they leave play, they draw you a card or they gain you extra lore, as we all know from the GOAT. He follows it up with Madam Mim Snake. Claude playing again, another big character that we got to see an answer to if we're going to see Andreas continue on. This Cinderella, just the resist is very difficult to face against. We might have some options like Tremaine that could maybe remove one character like the John Silver, who he chooses to fight into them. And there is a big Maleficent. That was a big play for Andreas. I was just saying earlier that we had to see something from him, an answer to all this strong lore, all these strong characters on the board, and he delivered. Maleficent just being a strong character. Followed up by, again, a Tremaine to get rid of the lonely Bucky left on Claude's side of the board. Playing a Madam Mim Snake to save the Tremaine for later for whatever Claude decides to play. Followed by a Pascal. Now that card's interesting. Doing the extra 2 damage and then drawing a card. I say it's interesting because it's just such a unique song. I believe it's a song action that we've got to see from set 2. Adds a little bit of options for these steel decks to play into. That way they can have more cards. And we see the Flynn come out, just not enough with Andreas's 14 lore with all that he had on board. We're going to go ahead and go to game 2. Andreas did such a great job, really just coming back and responding to all the wonderful plays that Claude had. Both players are playing wonderfully, but Claude, he had those cards that required answers, and Andreas delivered. I want to take a second to kind of highlight this beast that he played. We haven't seen Prince John yet. I'll talk about that after this beast, but just being able to get to turn 5 with the ink and try to lay down something that can really give you continual resources each turn has proven to be a game-winning strategy for a lot of these Emerald Silver decks. We really hope that we can see more of that this game, but also we may not see this. Prince John, just the ability to have your opponent discard a card and you gain a card off of whatever they pitched away can just be so strong and just change everything about the game format. We haven't seen a lot of Prince John decks make it into the top, but right now we see both these players are in the top of the tournament. So maybe this is a changing deck for that situation. Player's going to Mulligan. Again, I want to thank everyone who's here today. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here with Crimson Lion Games for their 1K Lorcana tournament. We have 23 players here today competing. This is hosted by 20 Lore Pro. You can check us out over at the Discord, 20lore.pro/Discord. We'll put the link in the description later. We also have a YouTube channel where you can check out all of the rounds in YouTube format, as well as Twitch VOD, which will be posted here later on today. I'm your host and announcer today, SirAshtown. You can see me on the Discord, normally talking in the Jund deck list discussion, along with our producer Lucksack and our head judge that many of you may know as Stunning Rob. Thank y'all so much for joining us today. We're going into game 2 of round 3. Andreas versus Claude. Ruby Amethyst versus Emerald Steel. We got turn 2 play here of Flynn Rider. Such a great card that we saw from set 1 that really just took out so many games due to how much lore it could consume before a player decided to discard. Andrea is counting cards. Claude inking that Cinderella. And another Flynn. Yeah, those are tough because with the Ruby Amethyst just wanting to really swing into those characters, it causes them to go behind in their hand. See a Minnie Mouse in response. As Minnie being evasive has seen so much more play. It's been proving to be a real nuisance to a lot of decks who have a hard time dealing with evasive creatures. It really demands a smash or grab your swords followed by a Tinkerbell, but something that can deal with it. Odd thinking about his play. That's always a great thing when we got so many possibilities. He thought about that Jafar for a moment, but he decided to go with goodness, I forget this character's name. I believe it's Jeffro from 101 Dalmatians. I don't know if many of you have done this, but I have gone back and watched so many of these beloved classic Disney films. It is the Christmas season, and I have been watching those too, but I've watched so many more Disney films in the past year than I have many years in the past. Just remembering all of these memorable characters. There's that Jasper for you on the screen. That is a good answer. Not answer, but a good strategy to kind of prevent Minnie from going away with the evasive lore gain. You see that Jafar that Claude thought about playing last turn. Finally coming down, able to answer him. Not Minnie, but any other card like the Rabbit who may want to sneak in some lore. Andreas is looking here at 2, 4, 5, 6 lore on Claude's side. Trying to get up, most likely to be prepared, trying to get there to that ink. It is so tough for these Ruby Amethyst decks when they are like in this game state, facing down so many characters, trying to answer all of them. Oh, and here comes one of those great Ruby answers, Maui. Not only that, but he has the enchanted version of Maui, showing off some of that bling. Followed by Teeth and Ambition, using that rabbit to take care of one of those Flynns. Card that we have not seen as of late is Scar. Just being able to wipe boards so quick. Some decks have been playing one-ofs of this, but we haven't seen too many be able to make it work in their list of 60. But Maui is a staple in most Ruby decks, as he comes into play with Rush. Just be able to deal 6 damage to anything right off the bat, so good. Many of my friends have talked about the possibility of a ban list, what that would look like, and many of them envision Maui being at the top of that discussed cards. Jafar taking out Maui. Jafar, whenever he does take out a card, is able to draw Claude, a card. Lady Tremaine to finish off that Flynn, the Shift Flynn, which only gets better with the less cards in your opponent's hand. Flynn can be such a great card if your opponent's low, especially if you get your discard strategy right off. But when you're looking at your opponent, who Andreas appears to have at least 5 cards in hand, he can be kind of tough to maneuver with. Claude playing a Flynn that we were just discussing. Again, we're at that point in the game where Ruby Amethyst really love to shine. They have so many ink to use in their inkwell. They have many options, from Lady Tremaine to Be Prepared to the Maui's, Maleficent like we saw last game. Claude responding with a John Silver, not allowing one of those Tremaines to gain Andrea's 2 lore. We see Andreas here choosing to use the other Lady Tremaine to gain lore along with the rabbit. It's always an option to attack into that rabbit that you know you can get rid of, but allowing your opponent to gain any amount of card advantage is always not preferred. John Silver coming out of play due to Lady Tremaine being bounced and then replayed. That's something that the Ruby Amethyst players are definitely doing, is trying to bounce their value cards. Lady Tremaine just being one of those great cards to bounce when you know your opponent's playing 1 creature a turn. And we see a spell book come down from Andreas. Some of these Ruby Amethyst decks that are playing 4 of minis, they're playing both types and have not found the space for a spell book. But there goes the handshake from Andreas and Claude. Andreas taking game 2 and overall the match. Again, he's just able to control the board early game until he was able to late game just play those Tremaines and really take out whatever Claude could put out. Game 1, we saw a lot of big bodies from both players, but the second game, it was just hard for Claude to catch up. What a great round 3. We really appreciate these 2 players who came out to compete today. They both did a wonderful job. We hope to see Andreas and Claude continuing on in our tournament of 5 rounds and then cut the top 8. Thank y'all over here on Twitch. I can see y'all's chat, so y'all are always welcome to comment, and I'll try to get to your questions or what cards you'd like to see highlighted. We really appreciate you tuning in today for the Crimson Lion Games 1K Lorcana tournament. I'm your announcer, SirAshtown. We're with 20 Lore Pro in the Discord. Feel free to join. And we're going to be back here in a little bit for round 4. So feel free to stay tuned for the rest of today's Crimson Lion Games 1K tournament.
Thank you for watching today's video. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel for the rest of the tournament rounds and other Lorcana related videos. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next video.